What's up, y'all? How we doing? This is my second attempt today in the last hour trying to make this video. Seems like a bit of a necessary update to the last one, considering what happened. But I keep getting hijacked and interrupted by a couple of presences, which I immediately talked about, and I'm not trying to. Yeah, and they made it fucky, and they made me get defensive, and they made me fucking get pulled through the umbilical cord and shit. And I had to, yeah, which is actively happening right here, right now. And and it led me down a really gnarly kind of mental path where I was just kind of defending and explaining and personalizing and doing all the shit that they say that you ain't supposed to do. But yeah, and so this is my second attempt, and I'm doing my best to stay right here right now, and to not get fucking shoved around, and to not get fucking knocked out of my head so that something else can speak through my mouth. I ain't like that shit, dude. I ain't like that shit. And yeah. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to fucking yeah. Anyways, so yeah, so a little so fucking okay, fine. I guess they're here too. I love y'all. Cool. Fine. Okay. Yeah. So yesterday, I made that video about the Bardo and about where my it's basically just venting. Yeah. I guess I kind of like Matias Stefano's approach, where he doesn't try to hide anything. He doesn't try to keep anything on the inside. He doesn't try to look any better than what he is. He doesn't try to he just be what he be. And no matter what he be on the day that he's recording, he used to do these, we call them connections. Yeah. When you would sit down and he would do a chakra alignment and give a lesson. He would give a lesson about what he learned that day. He would let his higher self come down in, and the higher self would explain things that they could learn about the day to Matias. And after that, they did he would do a meditation, an alignment. And it was great because no matter what was going on in his life, I got to see how he dealt with it, on an energetic level and meditatively. And it was profoundly helpful for me because he didn't try and act like he was not going through something when he was, or he didn't categorize any struggle as not worth it or petty, or he wasn't concerned with how he looked. He wasn't concerned with appearances. Hey, he still wore necklaces and shit too. Not that I need to compare myself to him. I'm just saying I like that approach. Just candid, open, honest. It's about the journey. It's about the process. And I guess I know that, as we all do, I have I don't know. I'm working on getting that goodness manifested into the third dimension. Because like I said, I've been torn around and chopped around and fucking yanked through tubes and fucking stuffed into fucking corners and all this so much in my life. I've been barely put together. And those few times that I have, those few times that I can manage to actually be centered in my being and just be here now with all my with my ears, my eyes, my throat, my heart, my sacral and my knees and fucking feet and root and shit all as one coherent unit. Yeah, it hasn't gotten to happen much. And so every time it has, it's I know I have something that I can give to this world, like something to something to rescue from that abyss. And that thing that gets rescued from the abyss, as it's true for all of us. I'm getting defensive, of course, but as it's true for all of us have a fountain on the inside. All of us are a universe on the inside. All of us are divine at core. All of us. That's not just a me thing, but it's like me too, right? Like it's not everybody else and not me, it's me too. And so I wanted to be able to rescue myself from this abyss, because I know the person that I am. I know the person that I am when I'm actually put together. And I think it's good to show how hard like things can diverge, no matter who you are, no matter who you think you are, no matter what you've done or what you've achieved or whatever it be. Life is still life. And like, yeah, it's the process. It's the process. And that's what I'm trying to show, is the process. And yeah. So yeah, now that I've gotten all that explaining and my fucking hands and feet are ice cold and like, yeah, dude, like, oh, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, that's why I've been doing this. To rationalize why I would make a video like the one that I made. But that was what I was experiencing that day. And like, yeah, that's all. Lately, I feel like that's my only creative output. Like the only source of creative output that I can like actually do right now. It's like, hey, my PC's broken. I don't really got access to Ableton. I don't really post nowhere else. Like, I'm not really good at drawing. It's not an excuse. Of course, I could always like try more. But like, yeah, that's a great idea too. It's a really good idea. Yeah. These are things we can do when we have our souls and like, yeah, like drive and like energy and stuff. But hey, if you're down in the pit, you ain't gonna get out of the pit by bitching about being in the pit. And I understand this, but yeah. And yeah. Yeah, like, yeah, I understand that. Still not fun being in the pit, but like, yeah, it does tend to make things harder like that. I don't know, man. It do tend to make things harder like that. But yeah, and yeah, so like these videos have been my only like connection, like creative output. Like it's the only time I can really feel like I'm talking to myself and not like some entities in my head. And like, yeah, it's like I can tell that at least like, yeah, like, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess I'm defending it, but like, hey, yeah, that's why I'd be doing it. And essentially, I'm 8 minutes in. I love it. But yeah, fucking yeah, yeah. Yeah, I bet you do. And yeah, and yeah, because I've been getting distracted and shit, like heavily, and like argued with by these presences that I did not welcome here, and did not welcome into my head, but have been, and that I wasn't even thinking about until. Yeah. Anyways. Feel free to dip, by the way. Like, if it, like straight up, like, feel free, both of them. Like, I'm trying to just talk about what happened today, my experience and shit. I don't need no bolstering, alright? Alright. Alright. Yeah, it's like it shut down. And, yeah. So, today, Yeah. So, yeah. I made that video yesterday because I was going through, like, it wasn't like a suicidal episode, but I was feeling, like, quite dead inside. And I was feeling like death was approaching, and, like, death was imminent, and, like, death was inevitable, which, yeah, technically, always, but, like, it felt like, in a very, like, I don't know, non-theoretical way. Like, it felt like it was close yesterday. Like, it felt like I was dying actively. Like, it felt like my body was shutting down. My emotions, my soul, my breath, everything. Like, it felt like it was all dying yesterday. And, like, it wasn't an exaggeration. I know with the BPD ego, it does, like, I understand. I understand the concept, but how it, like, to the person with BPD, it doesn't feel like they're exaggerating. It doesn't feel like it. It feels real to them. It feels real. Even if the emotions are distorted and blown out of proportion, to the BPD person, it feels real. Even if it might not be. I choose to say, of course. But, well, I'm still alive, at least. And, yeah. So, I just wanted to say, there was somebody who saw that video, I guess, and felt concern for me, which, namaste. It's very good to know. It's very good to know that somebody cares. And for real, like, my heart goes out to you. Thank you. Thank you for catching the vibe in that video and for being concerned enough to take a step like that. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. But yeah, they essentially what they did was they called the cops. They saw that video and they called the cops. And because like I seem suicidal, or at least like yeah. And you know, from my perspective, when I actually have access to it, like I understood that. What? Stop it. Yeah, I understood that. These games, bro. I'm so tired of it. But yeah, I understood that like, at my heart of hearts, I'm not suicidal. Like I understand that life is good, and that like you can't avoid karma. If you kill yourself, like that doesn't save you from karma. You just have to eat it next life. So like it's a complete. One, you would be doing harm to yourself, which goes against do no harm. Two, you wouldn't be avoiding any karma, and hurting other people around you. Like yeah, this is a bad thing to do. And so I don't think I've ever, certainly not yesterday, but I don't think I've ever really been to the point where like I was like, well, it's happened one time, but like that was a long time ago, man. That was when my soul was completely gone to me. It was like right before 2020, and like reconnecting to, yeah, that whole era. It was right before that. It was the closest to suicide I ever had like a gun in my mouth and shit. Not the yeah. We sold all of our It's not a risk now. That's super inflammatory. That's super not like I don't think I'm actually at risk for that. I think it's just it's a really gnarly set of feelings, but it ain't nothing that I haven't felt for most of my life. I mean, like, it is nothing new, man. It's nothing that is no more easy, and this time feels quite severe, but it's nothing new. And I know, like, I can overcome. I can. Some days are easier than others, but I can overcome, and I have faith in that. I have faith in my higher self, and I have faith in God, and all that. And I know that God helps those who help themselves, and I can't just wait for a savior and all this. Like, I understand the situation, I think. But, that being said, like, namaste to the person who was concerned. I feel you. I'm grateful. And it is good to know that somebody else cares about you. Like, it's one thing to do it for yourself, and it's one thing to, but it can be nice to know that somebody else cared enough. So, thank you. And, yeah, nothing came of it. The police came to my place, and they, like, checked shit out. And I got a whole story behind this. I was gonna tell it. Basically, like, I was at a gas station, like, 30 minutes away when they showed up. And I got a phone call. And my parents were just like, there's police here and they want to talk to you to see if you're okay. They're afraid that you're going to commit suicide. And they saw a post of like all this stuff. And it's just like, like, bro, what the, yeah, like, I don't know, like, yeah, it made me feel like, I don't know, like, it made me feel like I must seem a lot worse that I feel. Like, I feel empty and numb, completely numb most of the time. Devastated, like, when I can feel, but most of the time I'm numb. Most of the time I'm numb. And so, like, the depth of it, like, yeah, I'm not in touch with it like that. Not how I used to be. Many times in my life. But yeah, I don't know. Like, you get out of touch with what kind of states you in when you can't feel nothing, when all of your fucking bits are all mangled and messed up and sent through tubes and chucked around the place, and like, yeah, it was pretty damn numb. And so I think I kind of lose track sometimes over, like, yeah, I do wonder, I guess. It requires a certain level of self-awareness that isn't possible if you ain't got your own perception in your head, but yeah. Yeah, and they showed up, like, oh yeah, the reason I said, like, yeah, while I was at the gas station 30 minutes away getting a freaking pack of cigarettes and shit, dude, trying to reconnect with my soul and stuff. They showed up there, and they came to see if I was alright, and I remember, like, I was smoking the cigarette that I had bought there, like, well, the first one out of the pack. I opened it after that phone call, and I was, like, waiting for them to show up. They basically, instead of waiting for me to get home, they just asked the Kent police to come and check to see if I was okay, basically. And while I was waiting, I got my vape bandits in my hand. I am not addicted to anything, but as I was smoking one of these. As I was smoking one of these, waiting for that cop to show up, like, a bunch of ash fell on my lap. As soon as the guy freaking knocked out my freaking window, I did my finger and it just I was like, dude, like, oh, like, out of all the times I need my higher self, like, you know, like, I was ready for some help skis, man. But I understand that, like, I put myself in this situation, so I can't expect my higher self to just, like, get me out of it. Like, I gotta get me out of it for the sake of my higher self. I can't just expect my higher self to do it for me, because I put me here, so, yeah. Or at least I was complacent. Yeah. Anyway, nothing ended up coming of it. Like, the guy, I think, saw in my eyes I was okay, deep down. And, yeah. He basically was just like, yeah, like, what are your plans for the night? Like, do you have a support system? And I was like, I got God. The dude just kind of gave this, like, shit, bro. He was like, all right, well, you know, have a good day. Like, I'd give you the hotline number, but I don't remember it. And it's like, dude, yeah, I got you. Like, Google, like, yeah, no, it's all good, dude. Like, yeah. I didn't think I seemed like, yeah, I didn't feel, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's been one of the hardest fucking stints, like, that I've had to go through spiritually. Because although I grew up in this state, essentially, I never had to, besides, like, when I was very, 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 very young, I never got to see the healthy version of me get taken down to the version of me that I had grown up most of my life with. Although there were many times where I would get little bits of reconnection out of their stomachs. And it didn't happen often. But those moments are precious. And look, straight up in 2020, like, when my friends started, my former friends, I hope, you know, like, regardless, friends at the time, people that I used to resonate with, which, well, we'll see what happens in the future, but yeah, it literally feels like they came and rescued me. Because it felt like my soul had been eaten. And it felt like they came and rescued me. And brought me back to where I need to be. Back with myself. And they tried to tell me to be that part of me, and they tried to open my eyes as best they could. But it was my job, too. It was like my path to walk. Like, they couldn't walk my path for me. But they showed me what it felt like to have friends. And they reminded me of music. And my love for music. And, like, group communion, group tripping, going out in the woods, doing, you know, facing the unknown sometimes. Non-judgmentalism, indeed, as much as we could. Like, I of course, I had issues with this and shit. I'm sure we all do, to an extent. But ain't nobody perfect. But, yeah. And, like, yeah, it felt like they were reminding me who I was and, like, who I am. And, yeah, felt like it was my soul tribe coming to save me a little bit. And many times in my life have I sunken back into that abyss and had all my shit. Like, my hands are freezing cold right now. Like, all of my heat, my chi, my vitality, all of my life taken from me while I'm still alive somehow. It's like, it don't feel like it when it's going on like that, but like, you're still alive, but you're just like in many pieces, each piece far apart from the next. Like, your two ears, the two halves of your heart. If y'all have seen my symbol. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it literally feels like if it's your ears, it doesn't feel like your ears are in your head anymore. It feels like each one is like 200 feet apart from the next, and you're like all underwater sounding, and like everything sounds murky, and everything will sound like nothing. You won't be able to perceive with any kind of detail, in any sense. You won't be able to perceive with any kind of clarity. It's like all of your sense organs themselves get like divided in two, and then like diluted to the point where they're barely functional because they're being presumably like consumed. Yeah. But yeah, the few times that I have been wonderful. And I know that when I actually have myself out of that abyss, back into my body, like, I'm chilling. I feel guided. I feel comfy. I feel comfy in the world. I feel alive. I feel like, basically I can feel. That's all I really need. But those times when I can't suck. That's to do for all of us. Yeah, I've been getting on a bit of a tangent, but like, yeah, straight up. I mean, like, yeah, like as bad as things get, like as bad as things have gotten, and as torn apart as I've been many times in my past, for most of my life, somehow there's something in me that knows how to put my bits back together, even if I've barely gotten contact, although I did for a bit, from April, May, and June this year, as well as last summer too. Those bits, not those bits, fucking, they did the thing. Yeah, for that time frame, I got to experience who I am. I say was because I always feel fucking dead, but like, yeah, who I am. When I'm breathing and right here, right now, and in my own head and shit, life is good. It's still a yin yang, but it adds up to love, and it's all very like tolerable. And like, I never feel like, never even close to suicidal. Like, sometimes things are hard, but yeah, I only end up feeling like that when I've been broken down completely and utterly, and it's been a minute. But I was in this state for over 2 decades. To the point where I had to, during that 2020 acid trip, after my friends like felt like they had brought me back, like I had to get touched by the hand of God and shit. And the first time I ever felt love in my entire life was when I was 22 on New Year's Eve in 2020. And I remember that hand, like, as it came down and gave me my perception back, high key. Touched my forehead. I'm never gonna forget what that angel said. I'm never gonna forget. And I've said this in another video before too, but yeah. That angel said, "Look what they've done. Look what they've done." And like, yeah, it's like the way that the whole time that they're pulling from you, they dump their like toxicity into you, and they want you to feel like it's you that's the problem, and that it's your fault, and that you're doing it to you, and it keeps you stuck in the cycle. And I had completely drank the Kool-Aid. I had become convinced that I was this broken, bad object who had nothing good, who was a narcissistic, shitty, abusive, callous, heartless person. who ain't no good for nobody and squandered any opportunity that he at the time had. And after I got touched in 2020, I began to get reconnected with actual me. With actual me. And I never used to understand why I would feel guilty for feeling good when I was young. Anytime I would feel like myself, and I felt like I could hear music properly, and I could dance and things like this, I would always feel like I owed that to them. Like they framed my mind to believe that my soul belonged to them and that I owed it to them to give them my parts. And that I didn't deserve them all. And they literally say this to me. They said it a whole bunch when I first moved back in, man. I'm getting fucking bitter, but like, yay. They try to make me feel like I don't deserve to be put together. They make me feel like I don't deserve all of me. Like I can't handle all of me. That's what they say. That's what they say. Or said. The narrative with them changes constantly. Any way to escape accountability. Okay. And I know the part that I played in this. At least I think I do. We all got stuff we need to learn, and we never know what we don't know, of course. But I've been researching a lot about narcissism, about BPD. I've been in therapy for a year. I've been actively working on healing with spirituality and meditation and taking it into my heart and stuff like that. And nobody was pushing me to. I'll tell you what, I had to ask for therapy. Because I could tell I needed it. I had to ask. Okay? And I had to push for it too. I had to, kind of beg. Because I couldn't afford it. Yeah. And yeah. So I have faith. I have faith in myself. I have faith that I'll be able to get out of this abyss. I have faith that I'll be able to continue living, if I have any say in it, anyway. And yeah, at the end of the day, it's up to spirit. And whenever our time comes. But yeah, barring some fucking disaster or some catastrophe or some fucking act of evil, I very much intend to continue living and to continue trying to live in love and in consciousness and connecting to God and my higher self and stuff. I'm gonna do my fucking best. It ain't easy for any of us all the time, of course. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I might not be successful. Shit might be hard. Shit might be seemingly insurmountable. You might feel completely stuck and in chains. But only in your mind. Only in your mind. Always. Even if you're in a prison cell, you can astral project. Hey, there's a Midnight Gospel episode about that one too. Yeah, in case y'all are interested. Okay, yeah, it's really cool. This dude who got falsely accused and sent to prison for 20 years, and he would have monks come and teach him in his cell and shit. It's only a prison if you consider it to be. Yeah, we're gonna get through it. I appreciate that person that called, man. I really do. I'm alright. I'm gonna be alright, I think. I ain't at no risk. I'm not a threat to myself or to others. And, yeah. I very much intend to heal. And I very much intend to keep pushing. Well, not keep pushing, but keep, pulling myself out of the fucking cord, I guess. Pushing against the forces that have been coming up on my insides and trying to tell me that I need to stay stuck, to think terribly about myself. These forces that tell me that everything that I am and have been, to various degrees of saturation, underneath the distortion, my entire life, they try and tell me that these are their traits and that they belong to them. And it's not just 2 people, it's 4 people, if not more, man. But yeah. Stuff that Stuff that, if I were to just listen to what they were telling me, like, almost sounds like it could be true. Until I go back and, like, check, like, the things that I've made and, like, win. And I begin to realize that, like, they've been pervasive beyond, like, any of these relationships. Besides my parents. And, like, most of the, like, stuff that I feel like is missing from me is things that I've never seen in my parents. Ever. Like, they use it as, like, fuel. Like how you would use a hamburger. They won't let me teach them nothing. Like, they won't let me actually, like, connect them to spirit in any kind of way. Like, help to. They're not interested in that. They're not interested in that. They're interested in... yeah. And, like, yeah. Not me, man. Not me, man. I ain't trying to be like them. I ain't trying to be like that. I ain't even trying to, like, think about it. I ain't even trying to think about it. And anytime I do catch these things working through me, I can remind myself of that. That, like, I'm not my illness. And that, like, just because I was raised a certain way and shown that this is what love is and that this is what, you know, how you interact with other people and shit like that, like, I know better. And I've felt real love. And I have faith in that. I have faith in that. So we shall see what happens. My intention is to heal. My intention is to connect again to spirit. And my intention is to not take from others anything besides what they are actively willing to give. And I'm doing my best to find that sense of peace on the inside where I kind of feel like I don't need anything from anybody. Because I've been there before. And, like, you can get it all from within. And, like, yeah. Yeah, I know that's the way. And that's where I very much intend on going. The direction I intend on moving towards. So, yeah. Thank you to the person that called. Thank you to that person that cared. Rest assured, I know there's a lot of... Yeah, but I think I'm gonna be okay. I think I'm gonna be okay. Namaste. I'm Namah Shivaya. And, hey. I'm looking forward to the future. Because, like, it's always darkest before the dawn. And, like, if it's a wave, right? If it's a wave, it's always, like, you're always at the very bottom of the trough before it starts going up to become the crest again. So you're always at the deepest part. It always feels the shittiest right before it starts getting good again. So, keep your chin up. Keep your freaking chin up, dude. Fat lady ain't saying yet. So, yeah. Peace, y'all. Peace. Harmony. Hope y'all can feel my web. Oh my god. Hope y'all can feel my love through the web. I'm in a web, dude. I'm in a cast right now, bro. My fucking hands are ice fucking cold as shit. Dude, but fucking... Chat. Okay, I love that projection that just got sent through me, but, like, chat. And, yeah. I am not a dumpster. I am not a dumpster. Please do not use me as such. Fucking chat. And, yeah. Alright. Later, y'all. Love.